Okay, Senator, we are live.
Okay. Good afternoon. I'm Senator Gary Daniels from District 11. Today, we'll be holding a meeting of the Senate Finance Committee. Before we get started, I'll read through a checklist to ensure that the meeting we are holding is in compliance with the right to know law. As chair of the Senate Finance Committee, I find that due to the state of emergency declared by the governor as a result of COVID-19 pandemic, and in accordance with the governor's emergency order number 12, pursuant to Executive Order 2020-04 and its extensions, this public body is authorized to meet electronically. Please note there is no physical location to observe and listen contemporaneously to this meeting, which is authorized pursuant to the governor's emergency order. In accordance with the emergency order, I'm confirming that we are providing public access to the meeting by telephone, with additional access possible by video and other electronic means. We are utilizing Zoom for this electronic meeting. All members of the committee and selected legislative staff have the ability to communicate contemporaneously in this meeting through this platform, and the public has access to contemporaneously watch and/or listen to the meeting on Zoom or YouTube, and via phone by following the directions and links provided on the General Court website. We have provided public notice of the necessary information for accessing the meeting in the Senate calendar. We are providing a mechanism for the public to alert the public body during the meeting if there are problems with access. If anyone has a problem, please email remotesenate, that's one word, at leg.state.nh.us or call 603-271-6931. In the event the public is unable to access the meeting, it will be adjourned and rescheduled. Please note that all votes taken during this meeting shall be done by roll call vote. Finally, let's start the meeting by taking roll call attendance. When each member states his or her presence, please also state where you are and if anyone is in the room with you during this meeting, which is required under the right to know law. I will now call roll. Senator Reagan.
I'm in my office by myself.
Senator Gaida.
In my home with my daughter, grandson, and dog upstairs. They may transit, but I'm alone by myself in the room.
Senator Hennessy.
Good afternoon, Erin Hennessy from Littleton. I am home and I'm alone in the room.
Senator Morse.
Senator Morse, I'm in my office in Atkinson and I am alone.
Senator D'Alessandro.
Senator D'Alessandro, I'm at home in Manchester and I'm by myself, but my wife is in the house.
Senator Rosenwald.
Hello, Cindy Rosenwald from Nashua. I am home and alone in the room.
And I'm Chairman Gary Daniels, Senator Gary Daniels, and I'm at my home in Milford and I am alone. At this time, I would invite you to join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic
For which it stands,
one
one
nation,
nation under God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
with liberty
and justice for all.
for all. Our meeting this afternoon will be an executive session. So at that, I will take a motion to go into executive session.
So moved.
Moved by
Second.
Senator D'Alessandro, seconded by Senator Gaida. We'll call roll. Senator Rosenwald,
Yes.
Senator Gaida,
Yes,
Senator Morse,
Yes.
Senator Reagan,
Yes.
Senator Hennessy,
Yes.
Senator D'Alessandro,
Yes.
and the chair votes yes, and we will be in executive session. First bill I'd like to take up is Senate Bill 141. And we'll look to Senator Gaida for a motion.
I'd move ought to pass on Senate Bill 141.
Motion by Senator Gaida ought to pass. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Senator Morse. And I understand that there is an amendment for this.
That's correct.
Okay, so Senator Gaida is moving amendment 0968S. Is there a second?
Second.
second by Senator Morse. Senator Gaida, would you like to explain the amendment?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, let me pull it up here. This amendment was as a result of discussions with the sheriffs and the chiefs had expressed concerns as well. What this amendment does, if you look at small d on line 3, all right, the sheriffs were concerned that we had put a 10-day limit on a deny. They needed more time, so we expanded that to 30 days. The expiration date for filing petition or within exhaustion or expiration of all rights included in the appeal process. The second part amends the bill. There were concerns expressed that language in the bill might be perceived as restricting other law enforcement agencies or officers from doing, for example, NICS checks for concealed carry permits for those who choose to get them. And so what this does, it very clearly states that this bill shall not in any way prohibit any law enforcement agency or personnel from utilizing the NICS system or any other federal resource in that regime. It also says as necessary to perform their duties. So you're not going to have your local administrative assistant to the chief of police doing this. This will be sworn officers that are able to access the system, but it reinforces that. And with those two items, I would ask your support for this amendment.
Yes, Senator Gaida. Any further discussion on the amendment? Senator Hennessy.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have a question. Did we already approve an amendment for this bill? I don't see one in the OneDrive, but I thought
No.
we had discussed one.
Senator Hennessy, let me go just quickly look through my file, but I believe that is the only amendment I've ever received on this bill. That is correct. I don't have any other amendment.
Follow up?
Follow up.
Thank you. This question's for Senator Gaida then. Senator Gaida, do you have another amendment that you're going to bring forward?
Not at this time, no. I'm working with sheriffs on some language concerns that they still have additionally, and we've agreed that we can work those out. No, not at this time.
I thought that we had
that too.
seen a money amendment.
I want to support Senator Hennessy's thoughts. I thought we had an amendment for $100,000, $10,000 going to each county. Was that amendment rejected? Or was that just discussion?
I don't have any such amendment. The only amendment I have in my entire file is 0968S.
I have the same memory
Yeah. And
from
then-
last week.
because I received the phone calls from the sheriffs about that.
Mhm.
Bob, didn't we do this already? That was done on already, wasn't it?
I was just looking, did the bill come over to
Yeah,
us as amended?
I believe it's in the bill already.
That may be. Let me find out.
Yes,
It is.
amended by the Senate. Yes, it was
Yeah,
amended.
it
Okay.
Okay, so what we had is a lot of conversation about it from the sheriffs.
Right.
They weren't happy with this.
Well,
Saying,
they were happy with this amendment as of this morning.
okay,
And I've agreed to discuss with them further, potentially bringing in a floor amendment next week when this bill goes to the floor. Again, they were very late in getting back to me. And so we're working with them. I'm working with Gary from the Hillsborough County Sheriff's, who's the chief deputy down there. And we worked even as late as this morning on some additional concerns that they have, which have to do with the court system. But those we are working on. But this amendment is agreed to by them, and they are very happy with it.
Senator Gaida,
Yes,
if you are anticipating another amendment, you need to know that it would be due this Thursday. these, to be able to meet crossover date, these bills will be heard on the Senate floor on Thursday.
Okay, then I will get that done by Thursday. Thank you for that.
Senator Morse.
I think Bob could probably refresh all of us on this, but they met with the sheriffs couple of days before we went to the floor with this. The fund, the $100,000, taking it out of other funds that are already existing and putting it into this piece of legislation, plus the immunity, I think, was in there. I think there were a few other things that you brought to the table that we already put into this bill as a request of the sheriffs. Do they think they need more money? I think you told me that's something we'll deal with down the road, because we have like 5 or 6 months before this goes into play. So, but anyhow, am I correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, the concerns that were discussed with me were, it's not enough money. They felt that it was not enough money. And I don't know if that's been reconciled, or as you say, Chuck, that's going to be handled down the road. But you're right, it's in the bill. The 100,000 and the 10,000 each county is in the bill. But
Well, I would say this, Senator, they're saying it's not enough money, but they don't have a figure on how much money is enough money. Okay. And had they developed that, I gave them this bill, okay, in January. The night before, the Friday night before it was heard by this committee, the following Monday, I got a phone call and an email.
Right.
Okay. So we have 6 months to work on that issue. All right. And I don't think it's going to come to $10,000, frankly. Okay. You need a portal that doesn't cost anything from the FBI. You need some training. I don't think it's going to come to $10,000 worth of training. But again, that's discussable in the 6-month interval between applying, getting the funds and beginning to use the system.
Is there further discussion on the amendment? Seeing none, the motion before us is ought to pass on amendment 49?
0968 S.
0968.
0968, thank you. We'll call roll. Senator Morse,
Yes.
Senator Gaida,
Yes.
Senator Rosenwald,
No,
Senator Reagan,
Yes,
Senator Hennessy,
Yes.
Senator D'Alessandro,
no,
and the chair votes yes. Motion carries 5-2. We're now on to ought to pass as amended.
I move ought to pass as amended.
Okay, motion by Senator Gaida. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Senator Morse. Discussion? Hearing none. We will call roll. Senator Morse,
Yes.
Senator Gaida,
Yes.
Senator Rosenwald,
no,
Senator Reagan,
yes,
Senator Hennessy,
Yes.
Senator D'Alessandro.
no.
The chair votes yes. Motion carries 5-2. And Senator Gaida, you take that out?
Sure. I don't suppose consent is an option.
No,
No.
no,
More than one reason. Okay, go on to Senate Bill 149. This is an omnibus legislation on health and human services.
move ought to pass.
Okay, motion by Senator Rosenwald is ought to pass. Is there a second?
second,
Second by Senator Reagan. And there is an amendment on this. Senator Gaida is moving amendment 1049S. Is there a second to that? This is a recent one you would have gotten within the last couple hours. Probably.
Second.
Second by Senator Hennessy. And Senator Gaida, you want to explain the amendment?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This amendment extracts part 2 from the bill. It's a difficult call. Part 2 would enable the establishment of quote unquote safe havens for addicted drug users to get safe drugs and in safe quantities. And while well-intentioned, it's enabling for communities. But the ultimate question to me is, first of all, what exactly are we enabling? We're enabling the continuation of self-destructive behaviors. And just as a matter of principle, we established 10 entryways around the state for addicts, for people with psychological problems. We spent millions of dollars and well spent. But at some point, people must be held accountable for their own decisions. And that's a tough call to make here. But at some point, the taxpayer, should not be held liable for funding the decisions that are made, bad decisions that are made by individuals. As I said, it's a difficult call. I have an ex-son-in-law who's an addict on the streets in Texas. And as a result of PTSD and the horrors he saw out in Iraq. And the problem with this well-intended bill is that it does nothing to encourage the user to stop. In fact, it facilitates for them to continue. And as a matter of principle, I think we already have in place things that will work just fine to get them into a system, because ultimately they have to make the choice to stop. If they don't do that, you can spend all kinds of money, you can put all kinds of facilities at their disposal until I reach the point that they've got to say, I don't want to do this anymore. Okay. We're going to be feeding this habit for years and years and years. So for those reasons, difficult though it may be, I move this amendment.
Thank you, Senator Gaida. Senator Rosenwald.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I agree with Senator Gaida that it's a tough call, but I guess that for me, I've come down on the fact that the policy committee responsible for the subject matter has already reviewed it and sent it out to the floor. They had the opportunity to decide that we did not want to enable our communities to proceed with this kind of program. And in fact, they decided that we should give them that opportunity. So I'm always reluctant in finance to change policy when we haven't had the opportunity to hear all the testimony and consider all the policies within the context of that. And so when I look at the fiscal note on this bill, the money for this part, the opioid harm reduction part, comes up to about $25,000 in the second or third year, which I think is of value in that if a community decided to move forward with this program, and I don't know that they ever would, there would be an opportunity to one-on-one discuss treatment alternatives or other options with the person who's addicted, but in a safe place. So for me, I just don't want to overrule the policy committee, I guess, is most of what's driving my opposition. Thank you.
Senator D'Alessandro.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And there are two cities in the state of New Hampshire that provide health services. I actually have a health department. One of them is Manchester, the other one is Nashua. I represent most of Manchester and also the downtown area in Manchester. The Manchester Health Department does most of these things now. It provides most of these services and it does a fantastic job in providing these services. So we do it. Every once in a while, we take the money out for the screening for the STDs. We put it back, we take it out, we put it back, we take it out, and the city makes up for it or tries to make up for it. So I guess I'd say we do a lot of this. It makes a lot of sense to do this. I don't, I think people who are trying to get out of the habit need some help and need some direction. And this provides it. Now, as my colleague from Nashua said, and as I said, I'm talking of a city with a health department where these services are pretty much done on a regular basis by our health department. We've got a wonderful director of public health. She does a super job. So I may have a different reflection on this than others who don't have a health department and who don't see the sort of the dramatic need for these services. And I also say that the drug overdoses and problems with drugs take place in the urban areas. I mean, not exclusively, but generally speaking, we have Safe Station in Manchester, which was an invention really of Dan Goonan, who was our fire chief, along with his staff. So we do a lot of this stuff now, and I think it's a good policy.
Thank you. Further discussion? We'll say that, I'm sorry, Senator Gaida?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Again, I come back to the fact that we already have, there's no prohibition on a town to do this on its own. All right, number one. Number two, we already have the gateways for folks that are suffering from addiction to get help. And so again, $25,000 is not a lot, but it will grow, certainly. I think, again, every town has a health officer, a health department, certainly not to the size of Senator D'Alessandro's. So I don't think this is necessary legislation at all. I think it's very compassionate, but I think it's unnecessary. I think the cost ultimately over the years is going to grow.
Thank you. The fiscal note on this does talk about 72,000 over 3 years on this. The big thing for me, though, is because of part 2, which we were talking about removing, it downshifts costs to the counties and local communities. It mentions that in the fiscal note, and that's one thing I've clearly heard from constituents is they don't want the state downshifting things to them. So for that reason, I would be voting, to take part 2 out of this. Senator Reagan?
I just wanted to comment that I've seen this work very successfully, so I'd be opposing the amendment.
Okay, thank you. Senator Rosenwald.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I guess I would just say in response to your comment that there would be no extra cost for any community that did not decide to move forward with that. So it's not a state downshift. It just would change the law to enable a community to have a program like this. And I guess I would just say that the doorway program may have been successful in some places in the state, but it really hasn't been in Nashua, which, second to Manchester, has most of the opioid problems.
Thank you. Any further discussion on the amendment? Seeing none, we'll call roll on the amendment. Senator Gaida,
Yes.
Senator Morse,
Yes.
Senator Hennessy,
Yes.
Senator Reagan,
No,
Senator Rosenwald,
Oh,
Senator D'Alessandro,
No,
and the chair votes yes. Motion carries 4-3. We're now down to ought to pass as amended
So moved.
by
second.
Senator Gaida. Is there a second? Senator Rosenwald? Discussion? Seeing none, we will call roll. Senator Morse,
Yes.
Senator Hennessy,
Yes.
Senator Reagan,
yes,
Senator Gaida,
Yes.
Senator Rosenwald,
Yes.
Senator D'Alessandro,
yes,
and the chair votes yes. Motion carries. And would someone like to take this out? I'll take it out. Oh, did you raise your hand?
I don't mind because I'm prime sponsor for first part, but
Okay, well,
I don't care.
we'll let you take it out then, Senator.
Okay.
Thank you. Senate Bill 151. The chair recognizes Senator Hennessy.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move re-refer.
Motion by Senator Hennessy to re-refer Senate Bill 151. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Senator Reagan. Discussion. I would have to agree with that motion. As you probably noted, we finally did get the fiscal note on this. It's got about $300,000 in there. The fiscal note also mentions a potential considerable stranded cost, as well as it seems like things are still in flux and there's a redesign going on where long-term contracts for clean energy may be unnecessary going on in the future. And as well as note that ratepayers would have to fund large electric-related costs. And that I think there's a lot of good ideas in this bill. I would not want to see the bill killed, but I think that so things settle out a little bit. I think there's some things that really need to be looked at over a longer term than just passing it at this time as it is. Senator Gaida.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I also would reflect that the executive branch is establishing an energy Department of Energy. And I think re-refer is the right move to make to enable the people that are ultimately, directing the state's energy policy from the executive branch to engage in all the things that you've spoken about. Are long-term contracts going to be desirable or even necessary? Those types of issues. And so for those reasons, I'll be supporting re-refer.
Okay, Senator D'Alessandro.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I thought Senator Waters had an amendment, Amendment 1043S, that in speaking with him, he said it addressed some of your concerns. Is that not the case?
I do not. The things that I brought up, I looked over his amendment and I didn't make that connection. I didn't make that connection.
All right, I guess, okay. If that's the case, that's the case.
Senator Gaida?
Yeah, and Senator D'Alessandro is not incorrect, and I'm on energy, and so he did bring in amendments that clearly place the governor, in charge of what happens with the bill and whether or not it moves forward as intended. But that said, again, the question is, as the governor's setting up the Department of Energy, it would make sense to not kill this bill, to hang on to it and see what happens, and then perhaps we can fold that into the actions that they're taking, rather than make it law at this point in time.
So just a question on that, even with and I recognize that the governor would get to make a decision, but a governor could make a decision where there are higher rates put on ratepayers because of this. Is that not correct? So in other words, the fiscal note on it states certain circumstances in there where ratepayers could be adversely affected. The only difference is that you might have a governor making a decision that would negatively affect the ratepayers versus the bill just going through. I mean, in either case, I think re-refer kind of takes care of that and gives us a chance to sort it out. But I just kind of curious if that's why I said that I didn't know that it necessarily took care of the issues that I was talking about. Further discussion? Okay, the motion before us is re-refer. We'll, seeing no more discussion, we'll call roll. Senator Hennessy,
Yes.
Senator Morse,
Yes.
Senator Gaida,
Yes.
Senator Reagan,
Yes.
Senator D'Alessandro,
Yes.
Senator Rosenwald,
No,
and the chair votes yes. The vote is 6-1. Re-refer passes. And I'll take this one out. And then finally, we have Senate Bill 162 relative to the Department of Health and Human Services, the New Hampshire Granite Advantage Health Trust Care, the Health Care Trust Fund and Health Facility License. And before we get into this, I would like to declare that I am filing a non-financial conflict of interest, as section 51 of this bill has to do with daycare licensing, and I sit on the board of directors for a child care services organization, but I will participate. Senator Rosenwald.
move on to pass.
Motion by Senator Rosenwald to ought to pass. Is there a second?
Second.
Second,
Second by Senator D'Alessandro. And
I have an
understand that there is
amendment.
an amendment.
Mhm.
So Senator Rosenwald moves amendment 0962S. And recognize Senator Rosenwald to explain the amendment.
Thank you. This amendment is from me and Senator Bradley, and it relates to an action we did last week on Senate Bill 140, which was an appropriation for homeless case management and family support services. Last week, we amended that homeless appropriation to make it for homeless services. But there was a lot of discussion during the health committee phase of the bill between case management agencies and homeless and housing advocates. And in our discussions with the department, Senator Bradley and I realized that the best thing we should do is ask the department to convene a more formal conversation about case management in the homeless arena. And so this added provision to Senate Bill 162 gives the department until November 1st to discuss how to proceed on case management in the homeless system, and if legislation is necessary, to bring that forward in time for the next session.
Thank you, Senator.
There's no cost to this.
Okay.
The rest of the bill is just,
Yeah, I
they're
think
omnibus.
there's one section on there, I think there was very minimal cost,
Yes.
$10,000.
Yes. And this new provision doesn't have cost.
Okay, Senator Gaida.
thank you, Mr. Chairman. I totally support Amendment 0962S and Senator Rosenwald's explanation thereof. There are some concerns that should be addressed. They weren't appropriately addressed under 140. This is a perfect place to place this amendment. Thank you.
Okay, further discussion? Seeing none, we're voting on the amendment 0962S. Motion is ought to pass. Senator Rosenwald,
Yes.
Senator Gaida,
Yes,
Senator Reagan,
Yes.
Senator Morse,
Yes.
Senator Hennessy, Senator D'Alessandro,
Yes.
and the chair votes yes, and the motion carries.
Move
And now
on to pass.
ought to pass as amended. Senator Rosenwald is moving that.
second,
Second.
Second by Senator Gaida. Any further discussion? Seeing none. Ready for the roll? Senator Rosenwald,
Yes.
Senator Gaida,
yes,
Senator Morse,
Yes.
Senator Reagan,
Yes.
Senator Hennessy.
Yes.
Senator D'Alessandro,
Yes.
and the chair votes yes, and the motion carries. And Senator Rosenwald, did you want to take this out?
Sure.
All right,
Sure.
Senator Morse.
Yeah, I just want everyone to know we're taking up the addendum in finance when we get there. We're not going to take it up separate. So.
Okay,
Oh, okay, okay. Thank you, Senator. Got it.
thank you. That concludes our executive session. Is there a motion to come out of executive
So
session?
So moved.
Moved by Senator Rosenwald, seconded by whom?
Second,
D'Alessandro.
Senator D'Alessandro. Call roll, Senator Rosenwald,
Yes.
Senator Gaida,
Yes.
Senator Morse,
Yes.
Senator Reagan,
Yes.
Senator Hennessy,
Yes.
Senator D'Alessandro,
yes.
and I vote yes, chair votes yes, and we are out of executive session. Okay. With that, just a reminder that we have presentations that are going to be starting on the 12th of April. So between now and then, I get refamiliar with the things we need to so that we can hit the ground running, because I'm sure that the couple months is going to go fast. So with that, take a motion. to adjourn. Yes, Senator Gaida?
Yeah, I was in receipt of a email from Representative Major this, I think it was this morning, yesterday or this morning, about a session being held
Tomorrow
I believe-
morning.
Tomorrow morning.
tomorrow morning, right? I know if other members had received that, but I plan to attend that.
Is that executive session
No,
for the
it's-
House?
no, I think it's an informational session. Let me pull my calendar up.
Is it on the budget or is it on revenues?
Hang on.
I didn't get that.
I think it was by an Emily
Yes,
Brock.
Emily
Yeah.
Brock.
Are the rest of us invited?
He sent it to just the chair of finance and the chair of ways and means. And to Representative Weiler. And it is, this Emily Swenson Brock is Director of the Government Finance Officers Association. And her presentation is on recent federal COVID relief legislation and its impact on the states. And Representative Major invited any committee member to attend. So if you would like, I can send that information to you. But
Sure.
I don't have the link. That Representative Major was going to send the link. I'll try to get it from their committee council.
What time is it tomorrow, Deb?
It is at 9 a.m.
Okay, well, if you would send it,
Absolutely.
send
I
it to
will.
everybody. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't know if I've seen the link either.
No, he would, he indicated to let him know if you were interested in attending.
Okay,
So I will get the link from their committee council and get it to all of you.
all right, thank you.
Yep.
Great.
Anything further to come before us?
Will the, Mr. Chairman, will
Yes.
the House make a presentation about the budget? And when will that be?
Yes, I believe that's the first thing, April 12th.
No, oh,
Well,
yes.
No, it's Monday.
No,
that's
no,
oh.
yeah. What are you asking about, Senator D'Alessandro? Are you asking about the LBA presenting it to the entire House? Or are you asking about House Finance presenting to Senate Finance?
When it's going to be made to the whole House? When that
That is-
presentation?
That is April 5th at 1 o'clock. And I think I had just sent you an email on it,
Okay,
but I don't have it. The link will be, actually, it might be in the House calendar.
We'll get it out of the House calendar.
Yeah,
okay.
next
right.
Monday at 1.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
That
Thanks,
might
Deb.
be, might be something that's very useful for
Yeah.
those who can attend, to kind of get a little bit of insight as to what they were thinking when they built the budget.
Right.
Okay, anything else?
can we send out the link to that if and when it becomes available?
I think it's
available.
available.
Okay,
Probably already in the house calendar.
It's in
All
my calendar.
It's a YouTube link.
Yeah,
Okay,
Okay, good.
all right. Seeing nothing else, I will take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
moved.
Moved by
Second.
Senator D'Alessandro, seconded by Senator Gaida. I'll call roll. Senator Rosenwald,
Yes.
Senator Gaida,
Yes.
Senator Morse,
Yes.
Senator Reagan,
Yes.
Senator Hennessy,
Yes.
Senator D'Alessandro,
Yes.
and chair votes yes, and we will be adjourned. Have a good day, folks.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you.